Kill Boksoon is Korea's deadliest assassin, feared across the nation and celebrated as the face of its most powerful killing syndicate. But her most dangerous mission isn't a hit job. It's raising her teenage daughter Jae-young while hiding the brutal truth about who she really is. When a high-profile assignment forces her to choose between loyalty to her boss and the moral code her daughter unknowingly instilled in her, Boksoon makes a decision that sets off a deadly chain reaction and turns her into the target of her own empire. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss the most intense Asian thrillers and killer recaps every week. Let's jump straight into the world of Kill Boksoon, where being a mom is harder than being a killer. The film opens with Oda, a sly and dangerous Yakuza boss, sleeping half-naked on a bridge, unaware of where he is. When a train light flashes across his face, he mistakes it for sunlight through hotel blinds and wakes to close them until he realizes he's outside. Standing before him is Kill Boksoon, a legendary assassin. He questions why she hasn't killed him. Boksoon recalls the moment that changed how she approaches her work. One evening, while watching TV with her daughter Jae-young, they see a senator defending accusations of him buying his son's way into college. Boksoon had dismissed the scandal as something any parent would do to help their child. But her daughter challenged her reasoning, saying it was unfair to those who earned their place. That lesson stayed with Boksoon, shaping how she sees justice, even in killing. Now, she decides to give Oda what she calls a fair chance. She hands him a robe and a sword. She chooses an axe for herself. In her mind, she runs through every possible move, every outcome, predicting how the fight could unfold, fast, brutal, and bloody. She excuses herself to change her weapon, returns with a gun, and shoots him without warning. Kill Boksoon is more than an assassin. She's the face of MK Enterprise, Korea's most powerful killing syndicate, owned by CEO Young Min-kyu. Her name alone commands fear both inside and outside the organization. She's known as Kill Boksoon, a nickname earned through years of flawless missions and ruthless efficiency. Yet, beneath all this lies one weakness, her daughter, Jae-young. The fear of her finding out who she truly is haunts her every day. Back home, Boksoon collects her daughter's laundry and finds a pack of cigarettes. The sight drags her back to her own childhood, when her abusive father caught her smoking and forced her to eat a cigarette. Later that evening, Jae-young comes home, and Boksoon replays possible ways to confront her, each ending in an argument. Realizing how strained things already are, she lets it go. The next morning, news of Oda's death breaks out. Min-kyu watches from his office, satisfied that Boksoon completed the job cleanly. His sister, Min-hee, doesn't share the sentiment. Jealous of Boksoon's favored position and her brother's admiration for her, she criticizes Boksoon's methods, looking for any flaw to exploit. That evening, Boksoon meets her fellow assassins for drinks. They toast to her success, admiring her skill and the hefty paycheck that comes with her Class A status, the highest in the industry. But one of them, Hee-sung, insists she isn't the best. Amused, Boksoon challenges him to send her a bloodied knife, an unspoken invitation to a duel to the death. He laughs it off, claiming it was only a joke. Their conversation steers to the strict rules set by Min-kyu to keep the assassin world in order. Only sanctioned jobs may be done. Assassins can't take contracts outside their company, and no minors are ever to be killed. Breaking these rules means certain death. Outside, Boksoon finds a group of men hovering around her car. When she warns them off, they respond with crude remarks. She fires back, and a fight breaks out. Before it turns ugly, Hee-sung appears and joins in, both of them dismantling the gang with ease. Despite being nearly as skilled as Boksoon, Hee-sung remains stuck below Class A after crossing Min-kyu in the past. Later that night, the two end up together. After, Boksoon hands him money to help with his father's medical bills, a gesture that bruises his pride more than it helps. Meanwhile, at school, Jae-young is stealing a private moment with her girlfriend Sora. Their friendship has slipped into a secret romance they must keep from their mothers and a society that would not accept them. The moment is interrupted when a group of male classmates nearly catches them. One boy, Chul-woo, who has been pressing Jae-young, asks her to hang out. She refuses and warns him to stop, which leaves him humiliated and angry. Moments later, Boksoon goes to the MK office to see Min-kyu, but Min-hee intercepts her and drags her to a back room to witness a special activity. In a shabby bathroom, Young-ji, a young intern at MK's academy, launches into a staged attack on a man. The scuffle thuds against tiled walls and reveals the exercise for what it is, an assassin drill. Min-hee throws Boksoon into the ring with Young-ji, who idolizes her. Young-ji takes a wooden knife. Boksoon picks up a marker. The spar begins and Boksoon dominates at first. Young-ji flips a trick, transferring her weapon hand to hand and pressing the wooden blade against Boksoon's throat. An opening that would be lethal if the weapon were real. Min-hee jeers that Young-ji outshines Boksoon when she was that age. Boksoon answers with a sudden move, using the marker to slash across Young-ji's neck. An action that would have been a death strike with a real weapon. Applause rises as Boksoon walks out, leaving Min-hee green with envy. Afterward, Boksoon meets Min-kyu. He asks her to choose between two envelopes for the next mission. She suggests delegating some A-class jobs to her subordinates before she retires, as her contract will soon end. Min-kyu, however, insists she handle this one herself. When she opens her envelope and thinks the target is a minor, Min-kyu assures her he is not a minor. The hit must appear as a suicide. Their meeting ends abruptly when she receives a call from Jae-young's school. Boksoon rushes to the school and learns Jae-young had stabbed Chul-woo and faces suspension for a week while the committee prepares a formal decision. At home, Boksoon demands an explanation. Jae-young answers only that she wanted to kill Chul-woo, leaving Boksoon stunned and cold. Later, while Hee-sung cleans bodies, Boksoon sits with him and rants about the distance growing between her and her daughter. She fears Jae-young is becoming like her and questions whether she has failed as a mother. Hee-sung assures her she's doing a great job. Boksoon keeps trying to reach Jae-young, but the girl shuts her out. Then Min-kyu calls. He's preparing to travel and names Young-ji as Boksoon's partner for the mission. That evening, the two assassins break into the victim's apartment, knock him unconscious, and begin planting the staged details to make the death appear as a suicide. But just when Boksoon is about to kill him, his face appears familiar. She pauses and decides to read the goodbye letter on the table, and realizes the young man is the senator's son. His own father wants to eliminate him to cover up the scandal. At that same moment, her phone rings. It's Jae-young, but the call goes to voicemail before she can answer. When Boksoon listens to it, Jae-young's voice trembles through an apology, filled with regret. Hearing her daughter's words stirs something deep within her. Boksoon refuses to go through with the kill. She won't take another life just to protect a man's pride. She calls Min-kyu to report that she made a mistake and failed the mission, but he doesn't believe her. Min-kyu, already on his own mission in a Russian bar, puts on his earbuds and keeps her on the line. The bar erupts into chaos as he shoots his target and fights his way through armed men with precise, calculated strikes. Between gunfire and physical combat, he demands the truth, certain she's lying. Boksoon stays firm on her story. When she hands the phone to Young-jin to speak, she confirms that the target woke up because the sleeping gas wasn't strong enough. Min-kyu reminds her that breaking the rules has consequences. To silence him, Boksoon agrees to extend her contract instead of retiring. Her only condition is that no one else should be assigned to the mission she failed. It must stay marked as a failed mission. Min-kyu accepts, but on his own terms, reserving the right to decide how long her contract will last. Later that night, Boksoon returns home to find Jae-young asleep. She quietly leaves the room, unaware that her daughter is only pretending. She's been crying. After completing his task, Min-kyu calls Min-hee and instructs her to close the senator's case, disregarding the potential backlash it could bring to the company. His constant favoritism toward Boksoon only deepens Min-hee's resentment. She can't understand why he always bends the rules for her. On his flight home, Min-kyu finds his thoughts drifting to the first day he met Boksoon. Years ago, he broke into a house to assassinate a man, but before he could finish, the man's daughter walked in. It was Boksoon, calm, unshaken, and disturbingly composed. She wasn't horrified by the sight of her abusive father dying. Instead, she expressed regret for skipping her last class and coming home early. Without hesitation, she finished the job herself. Impressed by her cold precision and fearlessness, Min-kyu took her in and trained her to become a killer. Sometime later, Boksoon sits down with her daughter for an honest conversation. Jae-young finally opens up about what really happened. Chul-woo had taken a photo of her and Sora kissing and threatened to leak it unless she dated him for a month, after which he would publicly dump her to repair his image. Even worse, Sora urged Jae-young to agree for the sake of her own reputation. The tension grew unbearable, and in a moment of panic, Jae-young stabbed Chul-woo with a pair of scissors to stop him. Boksoon is stunned, not only by what happened, but by the revelation that her daughter likes girls. She tells Jae-young she might just be confused, but Jae-young insists she isn't. When Boksoon asks why she hid, Jae-young fires back, reminding her mother that she hides things too and isn't always available. Their tense moment is interrupted by a visit from Young-ji, who reveals she's been fired for covering up Boksoon's failed mission. Seeing a way to escape the heavy conversation, Boksoon pretends it's urgent business and takes Young-ji to a bar to talk things through. There, they're soon joined by her assassin colleagues, along with Hee-sung, who has just been promoted to A rank. The way they all cheer him on leaves Boksoon confused. Hee-sung doesn't look excited either. He sits quietly, guilt written all over his face. Meanwhile, Min-kyu angrily confronts Min-hee for reassigning Boksoon's failed mission after he instructed her to close it. It's not her call to make. Min-hee fires back, reminding him that she's the director. To him, she's ruining everything. Back at the bar, Boksoon sees on the news that the senator's son is dead. She immediately understands what happened. She confronts him, knowing he was aware of the job's history, yet still carried it out. The room grows tense as she senses everyone slowly reaching for their weapons. Boksoon orders them to stop. Just then, Min-hee calls Hee-sung, demanding he put the phone on speaker. She makes an open offer. Whoever kills Boksoon will be hired by MK and promoted straight to rank B. The words barely sink in before chaos erupts. The bar owner, a retired assassin desperate for relevance, makes the first move. The entire bar turns into a battleground. Tables shatter, glasses break, and Boksoon fights off every attacker with whatever she can grab: bottles, knives, and broken furniture. One by one, she kills every assassin in sight until only Hee-sung and one other remain. Then Young-jin suddenly steps in to help her. The two move in sync, finishing off their opponents in brutal coordination. Realizing his fate, Hee-sung confesses everything. Min-hee blackmailed him with records of unsanctioned jobs he executed and forced him to take on her failed mission. With regret in his eyes, he tells Boksoon that he truly liked her and asks her to check on his father before she painfully finishes him off. After the fight, Boksoon calls the cleanup crew to handle the mess. While walking to her car, Boksoon receives a call from Jae-young, who asks when she'll be home. The sound of her daughter's voice softens her for a brief moment, until Min-kyu suddenly appears. He attacks her without warning, furious over her repeated rule-breaking that now puts his position at risk. Not wanting her daughter to hear the scuffle, she smashes her phone. Young-jin quickly intervenes, telling Min-kyu it was Min-hee who issued the kill order and that Boksoon only defended herself. Min-kyu frees her and demands Boksoon come to the office the next morning to renew her contract. The only way he can protect her. Boksoon refuses, saying the assassin's deaths weren't her decision. If anyone questions her, she'll tell the truth. Min-kyu warns that doing so will make her his enemy too. Realizing she has no leverage and no safe way out, Boksoon reluctantly agrees to renew the contract. As Boksoon leaves, she comments that Young-jin is a valuable talent MK shouldn't overlook. Young-jin thanks her for the mentorship. Back home, Boksoon is greeted by an anxious Jae-young, who has been worried sick after her mother stopped answering calls. Jae-young confides that Sora broke up with her and now denies ever liking girls. Boksoon softens, apologizing for how she reacted earlier and assuring her daughter she never has to hide who she is. They share a rare, quiet moment of connection. But when Jae-young mentions finding a gun and a fake passport in her mother's bag, Boksoon freezes. Jae-young says she assumed she was a secret agent. Boksoon plays along, letting the lie stand. Later, she retreats to the bathroom and cries silently. The next day, the company leaders gather for an emergency meeting to discuss the massacre of their men. Suspicion turns toward Min-kyu due to Boksoon's involvement. His explanations don't add up, and Boksoon's absence only deepens their doubts. He offers to pay financial compensation, but the others reject it. Money can't replace their elite talents trained for years. One of the leaders challenges Min-kyu that his company broke the rule and hands him a ceremonial blade, demanding that he end things himself, as the code dictates. Instead, Min-kyu explodes in fury. He grabs the weapon by the blade and hits the man with its head repeatedly, killing him instantly on top of the conference table. The room freezes in silence. Min-kyu declares that he owns the rule and no one questions his authority. Then, in cold defiance, he adds a new commandment: no one is ever to draw a weapon during meetings. Meanwhile, Boksoon walks into MK's headquarters to finalize her contract renewal. Min-hee greets her with smug satisfaction. She taunts Boksoon, and that's when she learns the truth that shatters everything. Min-kyu killed Young-jin after she left the night before. Enraged, Boksoon kills Min-hee with the same pen meant for the contract, leaving it on the desk as a silent message to Min-kyu, her call for a duel. That evening, Boksoon shares a warm, elaborate dinner with Jae-young, the kind of memory Boksoon wants her to keep if she never comes back. At MK headquarters, Min-kyu invites her to share a drink before their duel. Boksoon visualizes dozens of ways to attack. Every possible approach, every strike, every counter. Each time, the outcome ends the same. She loses. But as Min-kyu speaks, she notices something he doesn't realize. His tone softens when he mentions the past. His guard drops when he looks at her. That's when she understands. His weakness is her. Min-kyu has loved her all along. Boksoon seizes the moment and manipulates Min-kyu's emotions and kills him. Before he dies, he confesses that he sent a tablet to Jae-young and that her daughter is watching everything unfold right now. Panic floods Boksoon's face. She races home in terror. She arrives home and finds Jae-young lying peacefully in bed. Relief mixes with confusion. Maybe Min-kyu lied. But then Jae-young wakes up. She smiles and softly remarks that Boksoon looks tired and should rest. Boksoon hesitates, unsure whether her daughter truly doesn't know or is simply pretending. She nods quietly and leaves the room, her heart heavy with doubt. Days later, while Boksoon tends to her plants, the news reports that the corrupt senator has died inside his car from carbon monoxide poisoning. A perfect job silently orchestrated by Boksoon. Jae-young, now officially expelled, visits the school one last time to bid farewell to Sora. She hugs her and whispers that she debated whether to kiss her in front of everyone or simply kill her instead. The remark leaves Sora smiling, caught between fear and admiration. As Jae-young leaves, she spots Chul-woo from across the hall. Her fingers point to her neck, a silent reminder of the mark she left on him. She walks away confidently, smiling with the same quiet ruthlessness that Min-kyu once saw in her mother. In the end, Kill Boksoon proved that even the world's deadliest assassin can't escape the pain of being a mother. If you enjoyed this recap, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell. It helps more people discover these incredible Asian films. Tell me in the comments, do you think Boksoon made the right choice, or was her fate sealed the moment she broke the rules? Watch more powerful, emotional, and deadly movie recaps every week right here on AsiaRecaps, where passion meets vengeance, and every story cuts deeper than a blade. Thanks for watching, and remember, in this world, the deadliest battles aren't fought with guns. They're fought with love and guilt.